Everyone, today is the day. It's Inception's 10th anniversary. On July 16th, 2010, Inception hit theaters, and since this movie came to the big screen, it's been my favorite film of all time. I've seen it way more than I could ever count, and I don't think I've seen a movie more than this. For my family, this has to be the serious family movie we all watch together, especially myself and my two brothers. This has always been our go-to movie. I actually remember the first time I saw Inception. It was not in the theaters, it was at my house, and I walked into our study. My brother John was in the middle of the movie. I had no idea what was going on, but it looked cool, so I sat down and watched the rest of it with him. I was really confused. Everything that was going on just blew my mind. I thought it was the coolest movie I've ever seen. Extremely awesome. It ended and my mind was blown, but I still had no idea what I just watched and immediately wanted to rewatch the movie after seeing half of it. That's a little funny story I wanted to share with all of you, but to celebrate today, Inception's 10th anniversary, I put together a special video. These are the top 10 reasons why Inception is my favorite movie of all time, as well as the top 10 reasons why I think Inception is the best movie ever made. Also, real quick, I do have this Inception Blu-ray. I've showed it to you guys many times. I think I've had this for about 9 or so years. I have no idea, but yeah, just a funny little Blu-ray that I watched again last night. Also, I've had this poster for 4 or 5 years now, and it's been behind me for almost all of my YouTube videos, so you guys just know how much I love Inception, so that's why I made this video for all of you today. And without further ado, let's get started. Number 10. It's an intelligent film. Many people, after watching Inception for the first time, felt nothing but confused. Myself included. I actually recall discussing Inception with a friend the weekend it came out in July 2010. He told me it's the kind of film that requires you to pay full attention or else you'll miss something important. And he wasn't wrong for saying that. In fact, that's 100% true. Inception is a movie that does require a lot of attentiveness. I've heard many people express their hatred for this aspect of the movie, stating a film that's hard to understand isn't a good movie. But I'm sorry. If you don't like movies that are a little too smart for you, that's a you problem. For myself, I love how intelligent Inception is. Inception's great amount of intelligence adds so much value to the movie. So much to where every time I revisit Inception, I discover something new. Whether it's a plot detail or something more specific that you wouldn't notice without further examination, or even something as simple as a character's name. Like, come on. How many people actually knew Dom Cobb's name after their first viewing? It makes the movie so much fun to rewatch over and over again. Number 9. Practical effects. Let's be real, CGI sucks. Nobody likes CGI, especially bad CGI. Heck, nobody likes green screen either. If CGI and green screen aren't always a necessity, why rely so heavily on it? Sure, you do need some CGI in a movie like Inception that deals with dreams, but when the film didn't need it, Nolan didn't use it. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. For example, the hotel fight sequence where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is bouncing off the walls. All practical effects. How cool is that? Plus, Gordon-Levitt had to get into tip-top shape to make this scene happen. Now imagine if CGI was used in this scene instead. I guarantee you the praise for this hotel fight wouldn't be nearly as high as it is now. Number 8. The movie's emotion. Okay, in the last decade, how many movies have you seen where you felt emotionally attached to what's going on? For me, there are a few handful of films I can think of, but Inception might be at the very top. There's no comparison to what I feel while watching Inception. It's a feeling you get so rarely. The journey Dom Cobb goes on throughout Inception is remarkable. Losing his wife from suicide and having his kids taken away from him is heartbreaking. If you're a parent, you'll probably be even more attached to Cobb than I am. Also, don't tell me you didn't shed any tears after Cillian Murphy's conversation with his dying father during the finale. More on that soon. I wish films could deliver from an emotional standpoint like this more often nowadays. Hence why I keep going back to Inception every year. Number 7. The visuals. Remember how I said I hate CGI? Well, I do hate CGI, but only when it's noticeable. Clearly, Nolan wanted to integrate as many practical effects as possible. But when CGI was needed, he gathered the best special effects team in the business. Can you honestly tell me a scene in Inception where the CGI is used and it's noticeable? I can't. The visual effects done for Inception is some of the greatest work in cinema history, and it's very impressive that both Inception and The Dark Knight still look sensational a decade later. Props to you, Nolan. Number 6. The film's pacing. Okay, boring movies. Screw movies that feel like you've been sitting there for a century when in reality the film is only an hour and a half long. Oh, and yeah, I can tell people hate long movies. The perfect runtime for most movie fans is roughly an hour and 40 minutes to 2 hours long. And don't get me wrong, I can't complain about watching a shorter movie. Sometimes it's a blessing. But when a massive movie is coming out, don't give me a runtime of less than 2 hours long. Only one of Justice League's many problems. As for Inception, it clocks in at 2 hours and 28 minutes. That may seem too long, but boy does this movie fly by. That's because of excellent writing, exciting scenes, and an intriguing concept. Oh, and speaking of the film's concept, number 5, Inception's concept. Also, unoriginal movies, really. Like, how many times have you seen a film that makes it no secret they are copying another film? Way more than just a few handfuls from what I've seen, but every once in a blue moon we do get at least one new creative movie. Thank God. And of course, Inception fits that bill. Have you ever seen a movie similar to Inception? I haven't. But not only is the concept unique, it's imaginative as well. Who wouldn't want to own technology where you can dream and control everything around you? The way Inception goes about this concept is as if we're actually awake despite being asleep in reality. If you've ever had a dream that's reminiscent of what the characters experience in Inception, let me know because I want to learn how to have dreams like that. Number 4, the cast. If you want the definition of greatness, the answer you'll get is Inception's cast. First off, Leo DiCaprio. This is his best movie, and he doesn't get nearly enough praise for his performance here. There's only one line by Leo in the movie I laugh at consistently.
These are our children. Watch. James? Philippa?
Please.
Yeah, my brother and I are probably the only two people that think that line is funny. Besides that moment, he's great. As for the rest of the cast, Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays Arthur. At this point, he was already well on his way to becoming a big-time blockbuster actor after starring in the likes of 500 Days of Summer and G.I. Joe Rise of the Cobra. But Inception cemented Gordon-Levitt's stardom. Ken Watanabe plays Saito, the man who Cobb works with to clear his name. Watanabe is a highly respected veteran actor who floored audiences in The Last Samurai in 2003. And I'm sure many fans were excited to see him in another Nolan movie after Batman Begins. Ellen Page also stars in Inception, and you can make the argument that she plays the second main character in the film. Actually, before I really knew anything about the movie, I thought Page was the lead star from a few of those TV spots I saw. Oh, and I have to admit, I did not see this film in theaters because I wasn't that big into movies back when I was only 12 years old. Getting back to the point, I don't know what's happened to Page since Inception, but at least she had a good run prior to this movie's release. She actually might be the only actor out of this bunch who's less famous now than she was before Inception. Tom Hardy plays the character Eames, and wow, look what Inception has done for his career. Since this movie, Hardy has starred in films like Warrior, Lawless, The Dark Knight Rises as Bane, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, Dunkirk, and Venom. Talk about a superstar in the making, not to mention he plays Inception's funniest character. There is no doubt Hardy is one of my favorite actors, and I'm so glad he's now a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood. Giving one of the most chilling performances of all time is Marion Cotillard as Maul, this movie's main antagonist. She's everything you could ask for out of the type of character she plays in Inception, a relentless menace of Cobb. And once again, another actor whose career has skyrocketed since Inception. Plus, the performances from Cillian Murphy, Tom Berenger, Dileep Rao, and Michael Caine. Wait, Michael Caine too? Cannot be overlooked. Number 3, the film's epic scale. Let us now revisit Inception's runtime. 2 hours and 28 minutes. Again, sure, maybe a bit too long for some people, but come on, you can't have an epic movie without having a long runtime. Would Infinity War or Endgame be nearly as epic if those movies were under 2 hours? Absolutely not. Sometimes a movie needs to be 2.5 hours long for it to truly maximize its epic potential. Inception 100% makes the most out of every minute it has to share. There is not a single wasted step along the journey. We have so much action, nail-biting moment after nail-biting moment, worlds with unlimited amounts of potential. The list goes on for why this movie is one of the most epic movies ever made. The concept and visuals also greatly help with this aspect, but maybe the biggest contributor to Inception's epic scale is this right here. Number 2, the music. A score that perfectly fits the movie's environment? Check. One of the greatest musical scores in movie history? Check. Hans Zimmer is a genius. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've mentioned this before and I'll say it again. Inception's score is my favorite of all time. There's just so much to love when it comes to Hans Zimmer's score for Inception. It is very loud, but it has to be. I'm far from a musical expert, but I know for a fact that Inception's score is a work of art one could only ever dream of coming close to making something as brilliant. No pun intended. And there's not just one or two notable songs, the score is filled with multiple memorable numbers. Of course though, the two best numbers are Dream is Collapsing and Time. However, a personal favorite of mine is Mombasa Chase, the movie's fastest paced number. Alright, so we've come this far along, and now, without further ado, here's my number 1 reason for why Inception is my favorite movie. Number 1. The ending. Okay, so I talked about the Cillian Murphy dad scene and touched on the musical number Time, but those are only 2 of my several reasons for loving Inception's finale. It's non-stop. In the movie's final hour, you don't have a time to breathe. It just keeps going and going, and the thrills never end. We're on this epic race against the clock in which our characters are trying to complete the act of inception on Cillian Murphy's character Fisher. The goal is to change Fisher's mind about taking over his father's company. The trade-off? If Cobb can cause a change of heart in Fisher, Saito will remove all charges facing Cobb for his wife's suspected murder. And from there, we go from one dream to the next in what becomes the ultimate dream sequence. It might be a lot to take in all at once, but this is where everything comes together. The end result is extremely satisfying. Fisher gains a deeper understanding of his relationship with his father, and every emotion the body could ever possibly feel comes out for the audience. The level of excitement I get from watching this high-speed final hour is unlike anything else I've ever gotten before in a movie. Oh, and going back to the musical number Time, it's placed perfectly in the film's final minutes after Inception is completed and Cobb receives closure with his deceased wife, accepting that Maul is gone forever, plus he goes back to Limbo in the process to bring Saito back, who died during the Inception mission. So now we have the beautiful musical number Time playing in the background, bringing tears to my eyes, and we have one of the best cliffhangers in film history. Did that spinning top fall over, or did it not? Personally, I think it did, but that's just me. To finish off this top 10 list for why I love Inception so much, I'll give you guys all the different grades I would give the movie Inception. I could give it an A+, a 100%, a 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 stars, 2 thumbs up from Sven. I don't know, I'm running out of ideas for grades to give to Inception. All you need to know is that, in my opinion, Inception is a perfect movie, and I hope one day we can get another movie that's just as good. Also, I really do hope that movie theaters open up again soon, because I have never seen Inception in the theater, and that would be something like an early birthday present to myself, so please open again. That would be everything I'd ever want. Because the way I see it, Inception as of right now is the number 1 movie I'd want to watch in a movie theater. Alright, and there you guys have it. Those are my reasons for why I love Inception so much, why it's my favorite movie of all time. I really do hope eventually, like I said, I can watch this movie in theaters. Unfortunately, New Jersey just put out a statement that no theaters will be open the rest of the summer, so that really sucks, but maybe eventually in 2021, we shall see. I do hope all of you go celebrate Inception's 10th anniversary today by watching the movie. I did watch it again last night for probably the 50th or so time, and I may or may not go watch it again today, just to further celebrate it even more because I love the movie that much. I want to savor this day for as long as I possibly can. I will watch this movie 5 times more today. I really don't care. I love it that much. As always, guys, if you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.